Hello everybody, we are back here on the Hunter Classic, and today I've got a bit of a Trophy Lodge guide since they are currently on sale. Now, if you want to get yourself a Trophy Lodge, you're going to want to go to the store and then go to sales, and as you can see right now, currently everything is on sale at a pretty good price, but to make this a little bit easier to sort through things, I'm just going to go to the Trophy Lodge tab. This is where you will normally find them when they're not on sale, but you can get them from the Sales tab or the Trophy Lodges tab. So first off, we got the different layouts, and I'm going to kind of go over what the differences are between them. So right here, you have the tropical one. This is the newest one. It's 398 M's right now, which is an absolutely awesome deal, as you can see, because normally they're almost 800. So it's about 50% off, which is really, really good. But this one right here has a ton of bird plaques. So if you're into bird hunting, this is going to be the lodge for you. It also has the most plaques for small size plaques that are the ones that can hold deer species. So if you guys enjoy hunting deer or any of the bird species, this is going to be the one for you. And as you can see, 34 animals of different sizes can fit in this lodge. So it is a pretty good one if you enjoy the bird species or the deer species. Now, if you are more of a big game hunter for stuff like elk and moose and other large animals like that, I believe the Rustic Trophy Lodge is going to be a lot more fitted to you. This one right here can hold 27 animals of different sizes. And if I remember correctly, it does have the most plaques for large elk-sized game. So if you enjoy hunting those types of species, this is going to be the one for you. And it does have one of the coolest looks, I believe, of all the trophy lodges. I really like the overall design of this one. It does have less plaques for birds and deer, but it makes up for it in the amount of big game plaques that is in there. One thing I also forgot to mention about the tropical one is this is actually the only one that has 2 full body mounts. So if you want to be able to showcase your rares in their full form, then this is also going to be a good lodge for that. But now back to the rustic one. This one actually only has 1 full body, which, I mean, it's still not too bad because the next lodge we're going to go over actually doesn't have any. So if you do want some full body mounts, you're going to need to either get the rustic or the tropical one, depending on how many you would prefer to have. And we are going to go over the layouts after we go through where they are in the store, so we will kind of show off what you can expect out of each lodge. But last but not least, we have the Classy Lodge. This is the cheapest one at 375 M's, 750 as the normal price, so it's definitely the cheapest one. And it doesn't have as many plaques as the other ones. I think it's got slightly less on pretty much every category. It does have a decent amount of bird plaques, which is not too bad. And I believe it's got 7 for deer species. So it is on par on deer species with the tropical one, but overall it's got a little bit less to offer, but still a very good lodge. And it actually has some really cool styles that I think quite a few people will enjoy. So next up, we're going to go into the different styles of them. Now, first up, we're going to go over the Classy Styles, which is the last lodge that we just looked at. And the first one is the Holidays one, which this one right here is 85 M's currently, which is a fantastic deal. You get it for less than $1 pretty much. And as you can see, it adds kind of a Christmassy touch to it. And I really like the way this one looks. It gives you a Christmas tree along with quite a bit of decoration. And this is the one that I've been using for quite a while, so it's really good. I like it quite a bit. Next up, we have the Alpine Style, which, as you can see, this one looks pretty decent. It's got more of a lighter color to it. Definitely very nice looking. This one gives more of a, kind of like an expensive look, in my opinion. It gives more of an upper class, high class look, and I definitely like it. It's very nice. Next up, we have the Montano Classy Style, and this one right here reminds me of a nice log cabin up in the mountains, so if you enjoy this particular style, this one might be the best one for you. But all of these other styles besides the Christmas one are 100 M's, as you can see on screen right there. So they're also very, very cheap, which is nice. And it gives a nice touch to your lodges. Now, next up is the last Classy Style, which is Winchester. And this one right here, I feel like is the most unique. I don't own this one because, me personally, I don't really like this too much, but it might be something that you guys enjoy, so this is also the other option that you have for it. Next up, we got the Rustic Styles, and we're going to go over the ones that I currently have, which is the Aspen and the Luna. I actually just recently bought the Luna, so we're gonna have to see how that looks. But here's the Aspen one. I was using this one for a little bit, and it is a very nice one. As you can see, looks exactly like a nice log cabin. I love the way the railings are on the staircases. I think that looks really, really good. But overall, this just gives you that good old log cabin feel. Next up, we got the Luna Rustic Style, and this one right here, I just bought this, so we're gonna try and see how it is in game, because I actually don't know what this is gonna look like when we actually get in there, so that's gonna be kind of interesting to see, but it looks pretty decent overall. It's a little darker theme than the last one, so definitely is a little bit on the more dark side, which I'm not really sure if I will like this one more than the other one, but it definitely still looks decent. And our last one is the Alba Rustic Style. This is the one that I currently don't own, but it does have quite a bit of differences from the last two, as you can see. It's got much different railings along with a lot of different color tones than the previous ones, so like I said, I don't own this one, so I can't really give too much of an opinion on it because this is all I've got to go off of, but it definitely looks decent. It's not as nice as the first one still, but definitely cool, and if you like a little bit lighter tones, then this might be the lodge for you. Or the lodge style for you, I should say. So next we're going to go over the gun racks, which they are the third one in the trophy lodges category. So right here, I currently only have the rustic one because these are a little bit more expensive normally, but for 200 M's you can pick yourself up the gun rack, which allows 24 wall mount slots and 8 additional slots in an elegant weapons cabinet, and it honestly adds such a nice touch to your lodge. You guys will not regret getting one of these. Being able to display all of your weapons in the lodge is actually really awesome. But next we got the tropical gun rack, and each lodge actually has a different amount that you can put on it. So this one's a little bit less. It only has 23 wall mounts and 6 additional ones in the cabinet, so you don't get as much for this, but I gotta say, this is probably the coolest looking one. I do think the tropical one has the nicest look to it, so that's pretty sweet. But last we got the classy gun rack, and this one right here can hold 26 wall mounts and 7 additional slots, so this is the second most, so that's not too bad. It's definitely decent looking. I still think the tropical one looks the best, but this one is not too bad either. Honestly, all of the gun racks look pretty good, so whatever lodge you get, you should be able to get a good gun rack to go with it. Alright, so now that we've gone over everything to do with the actual store, next up, it's going to be a little hard to show this because OBS cuts off this side of the launcher, otherwise I'm not able to get it full screen, so you will want to go to the top right of the launcher and click on the settings drop down, and it should have the second option as game management. Now when you click on that, it will take you to this screen right here, and you want to click on Trophy Lodge. Now this will give you an option to select any of your currently owned trophy lodges, and if you click on it, it gives you the option to change the styles, change the gun rack, and change the trophies, which is very, very handy if you don't want to have to go in-game to do it. So as you can see right here, we're going to go over each of these. We're going to start out with the classy one. So let's go into the classy lodge first. And as you can see, it has 4 large plaques for elk size game. It shows all the different species that can go on them at the bottom. That way you guys will know immediately what can fit on each of these plaques. And this is the one for deer species, sheep species, pigs, that type of stuff. And I gotta say, this is probably one of the better layouts for them in this lodge. They are in pretty decent spots. They're not too high up to where you can't really see them. I think overall it looks pretty good, so definitely a good lodge to get if you like deer. Next we have the small round platforms, and as you can see, we've got 5 here in the classy lodge, 2 on the medium platforms, which this is for your stuff like feral goats, foxes, coyotes, bobcats, stuff like that. Then on the large platforms that you can put your bears, kangaroos, and your werewolves from the Halloween event. You do have 2 of these in this particular lodge, so those can be really nice, especially when you got some nice grizzly bears on there, or polar bears, or something similar to that. Next we got the large round platforms, which this is actually for turkeys, geese, things like that. I believe the pheasant also fit. Yeah, you can put the pheasant, the geese, and the turkeys, so definitely cool to display those. Next up we have full body platform, and unfortunately this particular lodge does not have the ability to have a full body platform, and that's one of the spots where it kind of lacks a little bit. And it also can't have the bird plaque, so that's why it's a little bit cheaper than the other lodges, unfortunately, but a small price to pay for not spending quite as much on a lodge. But next we'll look at the style tab, and as you can see, you can click on the different styles and it will showcase what they look like, and from here you can change what you want your lodge to look like. And this is the default, so this is what it will look like out of the box. But then obviously if you want the styles, you can change it from here. So I think for now we're going to leave it at the Christmas one. Then just go ahead and click save. Next up, we're going to check out the rustic one, and this one right here. As you can see, this is what I meant by it's a big game lodge. You can have so many of the larger species like red deer, bantang, water buffalo, elk, moose, bison, all those amazing large animals. You also have a decent amount of small plaques. You have 6 of them, as you can see, which is slightly less than the last, but still a decent amount. Overall, this lodge is probably my favorite. I think just in general, it's got a good mix of all the stuff that I personally hunt, so absolutely beautiful. Next, we got the small round plaques, and this lodge actually has a decent amount of them, just like the last. I think it's about the same, actually. Yeah, we got 5 here. I'm pretty sure the last one had 5 too, so you're not really sacrificing anything on bird species. Next, we got ourselves the medium platforms, and this one actually does have 1 more than the classy at 3. So it does give you 1 extra if you like hunting the foxes and coyotes and stuff like that, as you can see by the list on the bottom. Next, with large platforms, this one actually has 4, which is another area that it stands out in because it does have quite a few of them, which is, like I was saying, why this is a big game lodge. Next, you have the large round platforms. This does have less than the last because we only have 2 here, so little unfortunate that it has less of these, but I mean, it is what it is. It still gives you a couple to display, like a turkey and a pheasant. And last of all, bird plaques. You actually don't have any in this lodge either, and that's because the next lodge that we're going to look at is actually the only one that can have those, so that's where that lodge kind of stands out. But before we go to that, we're going to show off the gun rack now, and as you can see, it showcases it right here. So basically, it shows the patch for the weapon, and then if you hover over the little icon right there, it'll tell you the actual gun name, and you can also select all your weapons from the list over here. So it's really nice, really convenient, and I believe if you click on the rack, if you click on the rack, it will show you the different guns that you can put on the rack. So that's very cool. I definitely like that, and you can go through the different categories. It'll show you where you can put each of them: handguns, bows, rifles and shotguns, crossbows. The actual rack itself doesn't have room for bows, sadly, but the rest of it does. But last of all, we'll go over the Tropical Trophy Lodge. And this one does have less on the big game than the last one, so it does lack there. And when it comes to the small plaques, it has quite a few actually. As you can see, we have 7 right here, so it is the same as the classy on the small plaques, which is pretty good. Next, you have the small round platforms, which this is probably the least out of all the lodges, but it makes up for it in the bird plaques, as you guys will see in a minute. For medium platforms, you only get 2, just like the classy lodge. As you can see, I actually have a couple things up on there. Next, we have the large platforms. There's only 2, so just like the classy, not too many on here. This lodge is not really suited towards large game. And for the large round platforms, there's only 2, so a little bit lacking on that too, but obviously each lodge has its strong points and its weak points, and unfortunately this is one of this lodge's weak points. But now you have the full body platforms, and this is one of the strong points. The fact that you can have 2 here and display 2 full body mounts is very, very nice, especially if you have a nice rare you like to show off. Like for me, I have this melanistic red deer, which is something that I am very proud of. It's one of my favorite species, and one of the rares that, if you guys have watched my Call of the Wild videos, you guys know I've been after one for so long in Call of the Wild, so the fact that I have one in Classic, it makes me really, really happy. We also have a melanistic bantang scoring 131 here. That was also a really cool trophy. But now for the last one. This is the one thing that really sets this lodge apart besides the full body platforms, and that's the bird plaques. You can put so many duck species and upland species here. As you can see, it shows everything that it can fit, so if you guys enjoy hunting the ducks or the ptarmigans or stuff like that, this is going to be the perfect one for you. But now that we've gone over all that, I think it's time to show something else about the trophies. If you hover over the bottom right, it'll tell you all of the details about the animal: species, rarity, score, gender, the reserve that you killed it on, and the date that you killed it. So a lot of useful information. It can help when you're trying to find an animal to put up. Like for example, let's go to the large round platform. We have this turkey right here. This is the one. This is just a filler one that I had got, but as you can see, you can move them in here and put them right here. It'll swap out the trophy that you had like that. And then if you don't want to see a trophy anymore, you can hide it like that. And if you want to see the hidden trophies, you can show hidden. So just an easy way to kind of clear up trophies that you don't really want anymore. But I think we've pretty much shown off everything that you can do from the launcher, and I think it's time to actually go into the game and get something to mount. Alright, so we got a pretty good sized gobbler coming in. 50 to 75 on the score estimate, 8.1 to 9.5 kgs, so this has the potential to be a pretty decent turkey. I'm hoping it'll be a monster. That does look like a pretty good sized beard. This guy should be over 60. I don't know the most about the turkey scoring. I'm not sure exactly all the factors that are brought into it, but I know for a fact that beard length is one of the huge ones, so this guy's looking pretty good. He's looking like he's going to be a decent tom. Let's go ahead and try to take this guy out if we can. We do need to get our breath back, so let's go ahead and that will be it for him. Let's see if we can real quickly take this guy out too. And second time's a charm. So let's go up and claim that big one first. And I'm gonna kind of go over what you guys need to do to actually taxidermize an animal, because it will give you the option right after you claim it. So when you go up to an animal and claim it with your hunter mate. Oh, that's actually a pretty good turkey. So this will actually be a good one to kind of show it off with. But basically, normally if you click resume, it'll bring up the menu to taxidermize it, but since we're actually going to take a trophy shot of this one, it's going to do it after the trophy shot is done, so we're actually going to use one of the trophy shot poses. Let's go with this one. I really like the way this looks. It can look pretty cool if you do some cool things with your trophy shot poses for your hunter. It can actually look really, really good. So let's go ahead and do the casual one, I think. And we will put this guy right on the back. I think this is one of the coolest ways to do a trophy shot, but just like that, you can see everything pretty good. You got the long beard there. Very, very nice looking. So once you accept your trophy shot, it will give you this menu right here. Now, you can taxidermize it with gems, which are the in-game currency that you earn from killing animals and completing missions, or you can use M's, which are the paid currency that you need to buy with real money. But what we're going to do is use the M's because I kind of want to save my gems for other things, so we'll just do this. You'll get a notification top left that says taxidermy successful, taxidermized animal sent to trophy manager. But then with this one right here, we're going to claim it and do almost the same thing, but instead of taking a trophy shot, if you click resume game, it'll give you the option just like it would with the trophy shot menu. So in this case, we're just going to sell it because this one's nothing special, but this gives you guys an idea of what you'll be looking at once you kill an animal. You can also disable this to where it only shows up after a trophy shot and not when you're just normally claiming stuff, and that's what I usually do. I do have it disabled normally, but for this video I wanted to kind of show off how that works. Alright, so now that you have got your trophy, you're going to want to go to the nearest lodge, and you're going to walk up to the front door of one of the buildings that are around this area. And you can do this on any reserve, it doesn't have to be the one I'm on, but you're going to walk up to the door, then you'll hit E, and it'll bring up the menu. You can also check out your friends' lodges through here, which is kind of a cool feature, but it's going to show you the list of your lodges, and you're going to want to click on whichever one you wanted to go into. Obviously, if you only have one, it'll just show one, but I have 4 lodges, so that's what we've got here. We are going to go into the classy one first, so let's just go in. I believe this one is what I have some trophies in currently. Now, I do need to rename all my lodges. They're not accurate names anymore because I've changed some things around, but as you can see, this is the Christmas-themed one, and it's looking really, really good. Let's see what we got here. This is my 194 doll sheep, so not too bad. It looks really good up there. But you guys get kind of the idea of what this lodge looks like. I don't have everything mounted at the moment because most of my stuff's in other lodges and I don't really want to take them down, but you guys can kind of see how the layout is, and it looks really nice overall. They've got everything positioned really well. Like I was saying, this one does have them lower than some of the other lodges, and it makes it so you can really see them. Definitely like the way things are looking in here. Now, if you want to switch lodges, you are going to have to hit E on the door again and do the whole process again as you would of the first time. So we're going to go into the Rustic Lodge now, and this is actually where I have my best trophies currently. I've kind of made this my main lodge just because of the fact that it does have quite a few big game plaques, as I was saying when we were going over all of the plaques. And overall, I just think this one looks really, really good. But since we're in here, we might as well showcase some of the gun racks. So this is what it looks like in-game. As you guys can see right here, it looks pretty good, and you also have all of the guns on the wall when you purchase the gun rack, and like I was showing, you get to choose which guns go where, and you can do some really cool stuff with it. I think it looks really nice and adds a good finishing touch to it, but as you can see, this is why this is one of my favorite lodges. So many big game plaques. You can put so many red deer, mule deer, etc. And it just overall looks really, really good. I really like the layout of it. Just overall a fantastic looking lodge. There is still quite a bit I need to fill, but for the most part I've got a decent amount of animals up. But one thing I did forget to mention when we were in the last lodge is while you're in the lodge, if you hit the I key, it will bring up the inventory and you can kind of move things around. So let's say you don't like where they are, you can just move them to some more plaques, and then as you can see, it will have moved the 2 trophies. So they were on that wall, now we've got them above the fireplace. And if you right click, it'll actually bring up the information about the animal. If you left click after right clicking, you can actually change the trophy poses, so that can be really handy to get them in that perfect pose to where it shows off the horns or the antlers the way that you want it to. Like right here, this looks a lot better than what we had it at before. Just like with this sheep right here, this angle right here kind of shows off the curl a little better, so I think we're going to keep that like that. But as you can see with these, I've got their heads turned in different directions to kind of give it a nice little touch. But I think that's all we really have to go over for the different controls and stuff for the trophy lodges. Once again, when you're in this menu, it's the same thing as it was in the previous menu that I showed off, where you can change things around, hiding and all that type of stuff. So last, we're gonna go show off the final lodge, the tropical one. This one, I can't remember exactly what I have put up in it. I think I've got a lot of non-typicals and stuff like that in it. And like I was saying, I don't have these labeled correctly, so I don't think it's actually my best trophies. I think I've got a ton of non-tips and then a few other trophies along with those. But yeah, here we go. So this is what the tropical lodge looks like on the inside. Definitely is one of the more unique looking lodges, which is pretty cool. Definitely a good lodge if you like the birds or the large full body mounts, but this is what those bird mounts look like. Definitely pretty cool. Once again, you can change things around. Not as many poses for these, but still really, really cool. But yeah, I think that's really all there is to say about the trophy lodges. Overall, my favorite one is the Rustic, but a close second would be this lodge right here. But it really, like I was saying, depends on what you are looking for in a lodge, what type of species you enjoy hunting. So I hope this guide helped everybody out. I will try to do as much as I can in the future for different guides on new stuff that comes out, different things that people really want to know. I've been thinking about doing a potential clothing guide because there's been quite a few requests for it recently, and I do think that would be a helpful thing to put out, so let me know if you'd like to see a clothing guide down in the comments below. But until next time, that's going to be it for me. Be sure to like the video, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. It does help me out quite a bit. We're trying to get to 5,000 subs before the end of the month, so that would be much appreciated. Anyway, I will see you all in the next video. Peace! If you are new here and you are liking what you see, consider subscribing to the channel and turning notifications on. Also, if you want to help the channel grow, be sure to like the video because this alone can help the video and my channel do better. But that's going to be it for me. Peace, my dudes. I hope you all have a fantastic day.